welcome back. It is Ray Michaels here with Total News Nation and Grassroots 50. I'm here with the one, the only Alexander Spellane. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ray. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Well, it's good to, it's good to see. It's been about a year, I guess.
Yeah, good to see you again.
I'll tell you what, I see your name everywhere here at America Fest. You guys are doing a great job and just helping to sponsor and making this event so spectacular.
Yeah, I think this is a really good turnout. It's probably the biggest turnout I've seen at any Turning Point event. And we've done a lot. It's been exhausting because I did an event in Duluth, Georgia, and then we did the Trump rally in Vegas that Turning Point Action put on. Was just in Palm Beach for the Winter Gala, and we've done a few other non-Turning Point events in between. But I'm ready to close this year out. And the traveling and the event planning, it's a lot.
Well, and also, from a capital perspective, the marketplace has been doing some crazy stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, the stock market has lost almost 6.5% in the last 2 weeks. And we had this Trump bump. Now we've seen it kind of go down. People are still very bullish on gold and cryptocurrency right now, things that are decentralized. And I think that's really where we're going to see the shift happen in finance. I think there's going to be a major shift because people are very concerned about how much debt has accrued, that now they're starting to take their profits and redirect that into other assets.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll be reinvesting back into America and what Donald Trump wants to do here.
Well, that's what we wanted to do. I mean, we have taken our profits and tried to turn that into purpose by sponsoring Turning Point USA, and we are grateful to do that.
Now, for those in our audience that are worried about this digital currency, can you give us a little bit of, because you're coming from a much different perspective than the average person.
Yeah.
Are we concerned with it? Do you think it's going to go through? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing?
Well, I think it's like anything else. It's people in America value their privacy. They have a high value on having true ownership. So as a result of that, I don't foresee that people are going to vote to change us to a digital dollar and to do away with cash. So it's almost like there'd have to be some sort of crisis for that to happen. And what kind of crisis? Well, a financial crisis, obviously. And so I would be concerned if we saw a major recession or even a depression. That would be the perfect opportunity for them to say, hey, the reason this happened, and it happened before in 2008 with all these bank bailouts, we still don't know where that money went. It has not been disclosed. There's no answer to it. And the reason you see governments putting cryptocurrencies in place and testing them out is simply because it allows them to track everywhere that money went.
Right.
And without having to manually keep track of it, it's automatic through a blockchain technology, right?
Well, and there's no bartering. There's no, hey, I want to buy your car.
There's no, skimming the IRS. There's no privacy whatsoever. And guess what? If it's digital, it makes it very easy for them to,
turn it off.
Just
all right,
access away.
So you think back to 1913, right? Federal Reserve. Did the people really vote on that? Was that ratified in the IRS? Was that voted in by the people? Even the 17th Amendment. These things.
Well, it was voted in by some people, right? Like I think it was a very small group of people who made those decisions. No, it was not like there wasn't a general election held where, the entirety of all American citizens had a say in it, obviously.
Right. So I guess it comes back to that question. Is it something that for going over to a digital currency, do you think that it would require that the people would have to be involved, or do you think they're just going to push it through?
No, you know why?
They have to do whatever.
Because the people they already know, the elites that want to push this agenda already know that people are not going to go for it. They already know that especially business owners are not interested in having, every transaction that they've ever made on a ledger, right? They don't want that. They also value their privacy, and they don't want to be reliant on something digital at all. Um, you know, I can tell you that I've done this for a long time, and I've talked to a lot of people, and once they're at a level where they have a nest egg together, they have life savings, it's very, very hard for those people to make changes. And the majority of the private wealth in the country are people who are older. Why would somebody who's 40 years or older want to change what they know and what they've done and what they're used to and what's indoctrinated in them
And
and
what's
what
been successful for them.
exactly? Why would they want to change that for no reason? How does it benefit them? How you can't sell this to people.
Yeah.
You can't even pitch the benefit. There is no benefit for them.
Wow.
So the only people who would vote on something like this are younger people and probably people who don't have a ton of money, but I don't even think they would, because the whole point of cryptocurrency is that it's decentralized from the government. You can send money instantly across the, Western Union was a way that I was familiar with, that people would send money internationally if they needed to. If like, there's an emergency, my relative in Italy needs money right now, and they can send that Western Union. It eliminates those businesses because it's an instantaneous transaction that can occur and send money anywhere in the world very quickly.
Wow.
So I think that people like the idea of the fact that it's not attached to a central bank or coupled with a nation's debt, and that's the use case for it. Now it's become broader, and Don Jr. and Trump talk about this. They talk about blockchain technology being great for real estate transactions, right? And I agree with those aspects of blockchain. Do I believe the government should have that type of insight or control that anyone Americans finances? No, I don't, and I don't think other people would agree either. So,
All right. So, how are we looking forward to 2025? We got President Donald J. Trump coming in. Hopefully, he's set up his cabinet to do things effectively and efficiently from day one. And I know he's going to move forward quickly on this. He's got people from all aspects and all directions. If they stay in their lane and they don't get intertwined like a lot of people do, I think we're going to have leaps and bounds just in the first 100 days or so.
That's true. I think that Donald Trump is going to act swiftly, and I think he is going to act very urgently from day one. I think he's going to get in office, and I think he's going to immediately implement some serious changes, and he's going to set the tone, and he's going to let people know he's not playing around this time.
No, and I think some wars are going to end.
Yeah.
Some people are going to back off.
Yeah.
A lot of things are going to happen. Okay, so we're going to bring out, Alexander, we're bringing out the crystal ball. What do people have to look forward from an investing standpoint for 2025?
Well, look, Elon Musk had mentioned this. He said that with the policies Trump wants to implement, it's going to require that Americans go through some economic hardship for the greater good long term, right? So anything worthwhile is never easy, okay?
That's right.
So the type of changes that Donald Trump's going to bring to strengthen our dollar, strengthen our economy, it's first he's got to, we've got a mess to clean up. Look, Epoch Times is right over there, and the front page of the Epoch Times says Donald Trump inherits a steep inflation. It's true, and to tame that and combat it is not an overnight process. It's just not. So I can tell you that the debt is the biggest problem. The endless money printing is a big problem. The government spending is out of control. Once those things shrink, and they will, or once they're in scale with our GDP, for example, right? And a great way to increase GDP is just drill. That's why Donald Trump wants to do it. It also puts us in a position where we don't have to rely on other countries setting the market for oil. Other countries setting the market for oil, and if it's trading U.S. dollars, and then the dollar is backed by nothing, and it becomes very expensive, then other countries want to veer away from the U.S. dollar. That's why you have BRICS nations, right? That's why you have that. And they've And meanwhile, Joe Biden has done nothing to combat this
Well,
whatsoever. It's almost like he's like just made it worse.
I don't even think he's making any decisions. I think people behind the scenes are just doing whatever. Well, Alexander, it's great having you here again, and we thank you so much for doing all that you do with Fisher Capital. How do they reach you? How can they invest with you? How can they be part of your organization?
Absolutely. Well, for anybody who has set the priority and puts a high value on having real ownership in their portfolio, and also owning something that's physical and tangible, that's where we can help you. We can get you the absolute best gold and silver products on the market. We have a price match guarantee on anything that we sell to our clients with any of our competitors. Now, for this event, we did something very special, and I'll play it on this show as well. But if you text metals to 26786, keyword metals to 26786, you're going to get a text back. Click the link, put your name, phone number, and email. We will actually be sending you out a silver coin as a thank you for listening to the show, as well as being a part of Turning Points America Fest. And on top of that, you can qualify for up to $20,000 in free silver with qualified rollovers and transactions that you can do with Fisher Capital. So we really want to make this available for everybody. We want to put people in a position where they have access to gold and silver easily and readily. The problem is that physical gold and silver is something that used to be in everyone's portfolio. We were on a gold standard, you know this.
Yeah.
And now almost nobody has it in their portfolio, even though everyone's heard the recommendation from economists that you should have 10% of your portfolio as a bare minimum. Even in a healthy economy, that should be in precious metals. So we are bringing that back. It's in the spirit of making America great again. It's that simple.
All right. Give us the code one more time.
Metals, METALS, text metals to 26786. And again, that's 26786.
All right. Alexander Spellane here, Fisher Capital. We're here at America Fest 2024. And 2025 looks bright. It looks very, very bright. But know that there's always growing pains. You know, we've been in a bad place for 4 years. They set him up to fail. I mean, could you imagine, and we're going to close off here, but can you imagine that you buy all this steel and the president of the United States is selling it at 5 cents on the dollar, knowing that the next president coming in is going to be using it? You know, the wall. We're talking about how... okay. Anyway, that's for another time. Alexander Spellane here and with Fisher Capital. Check it out. And I am Ray Michaels. Until next time, we'll see you real soon.